Marks the fourth sailor linked to the aircraft carrier to take their own life within a year after 3 sailors were found last April. And this also comes after 4 apparent suicides linked to the Mid-Atlantic Regional Maintenance Center, also known as MARMAC, in Norfolk. And we've learned about that late last year. News 3's Zach Dahlheimer joins us in the studio. Zach, you spoke with military family members and local leaders. What are they telling you tonight?
Well, Kurt, you just heard from a Navy widow and the licensed therapist I talked with tonight. She says that this is more than a wake-up call. Mental health is an outspoken issue with the sailor suicides from this past year. And while Washington lawmakers have added more support, elected leaders say this recent death is sparking more drive towards a solution.
It feels like I'm losing a part of my family.
Dr. Sarah Williams is reacting to the most recent sailor assigned to the USS George Washington who died by suicide.
I think that we are at the extent of what our previous resources are, and it's time for a very conscientious change in game plan.
This sailor is the 4th linked to the ship to take their own life in roughly a year.
The news about the most recent death by suicide just was a real gut punch.
Wednesday, Senator Tim Kaine spoke about this following a visit to MARMAC in Norfolk 2 weeks ago to speak with sailors about mental health after 4 apparent suicides linked to the center late last year.
Every situation is different, so you have to be humble in generalizing. But what strikes me about the George Washington scenarios and the MARMAC scenarios is that we're dealing with a group of sailors who have trained for a particular mission, but they're actually they're carrying out activities that were sort of not what they trained for and what they went into the Navy for. And
Kaine has said the 2023 National Defense Bill passed by the Senate will help provide service members with access to mental health services. He also says there are issues that could be specific to Hampton Roads.
Wait times to get a mental health appointment at Portsmouth Naval Hospital. The challenges with the med board process. Again.
Meanwhile, Congresswoman Kiggans is also weighing in on this latest suicide.
This is unfortunately an ongoing problem that we're seeing.
She says she's working on legislation to ensure mental health resources for service members.
We talk about availability and accessibility for mental health care. Do we have the providers that are needed?
She's also looking forward to serving on a congressional task force addressing recruitment, retention, and quality of life.
We can do so much better than what we're doing, and I can't wait to ask some hard questions.
Williams believes action from both Kaine and Kiggans is a good first step and is hopeful for changes.
It's beyond just necessary at this point. I think we have definitely gone beyond any resource that we currently have. There needs to be a complete overhaul of what's currently in place.
Now, Kiggans says that task force is set to start in June and could involve many visits to different bases. However, specifics for that are still being fine-tuned at this time. As for Senator Kaine, he says there's plans to have Navy leaders meet with the Senate Armed Services Committee. Zach Dahlheimer, News 3.
Zach, thank you so much. If you or anyone you know is struggling with mental health issues, we have a link to resources right now on WTKR.com. You can also call the Crisis Lifeline at 988